Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marta, I come from Norway and I love makeup, and today I just decided I would depot this palette from Glam Shop. And I know a lot of people keep on asking, is it possible to depot them? Are they magnetic? And the answer is no, they're not magnetic, but you can depot them, but it is a little bit tricky. I think you should just be ready to repress them just in case you damage them a little bit. But the pans, they are glued into the palette, as you can see here, and you will also of course have a little bit of the glue on the pan. But especially this palette, which is the Kolorlove palette from Glam Shop, is easy to depot from what I can tell, because you can see a little bit of extra space on the different, like on the sides of all of the pans. And in this palette, I bought it mainly because, like, first of all, it was on sale, but second of all, I really like especially this green shade, but I do love all of the shades in this palette. So I think I'll just depot all of them, and we will see. Maybe I will just replace the shimmers or whatever. I can always just use some lash glue or something for some temporary storing of the pans inside the palette to make them a little bit more safe. But now I think I will just get started, so I will just put this aside and zoom you in a little bit. So when depotting, there's not really that much you can do other than try to be careful. I'm using a spatula. You can get spatulas very cheap on different websites or AliExpress, Wish, pages like that. So you just need to like get it into the side, which right here you actually have quite some space. You could also just use a kind of needle or something like that if it's not that much space. And then I'm just pushing up without trying to like distort the pan too much, because that can make the shadow kind of pop out of the pan if you start moving the actual pan too much, because they're not that sturdy. But as you can see, it's relatively easy to get the shadows out. So I would say that the shimmers are the easiest, but the mattes, they crack more easy when you move the pan. So you need to be extra careful with the mattes. I'm just going to finish off the shimmers first, and then I will show you the mattes, which we will see if I manage to depot the whole palette without damaging any of the shadows. I do also just want to kind of underline the importance of kind of getting underneath before starting to twist, because that way Luke just woke up, because that way you will distort the pan less. If you start like pushing it while it's still glued into the palette, you might just change the shape of the pan, and of course the shadow inside will also start loosening up and stuff. So as you can see here, I'm trying to get underneath before starting to push too much. And there we have all of the shimmers outside. So here you have the shimmers. Like, they're okay, but they're just not that sparkly, they're not that shifty. I feel like the blue light one here could be a great highlighter. But I'm gonna move them aside, and now for the hardest part, let's try to depot the mattes. And these ones are placed a little bit more in the middle, which makes it even trickier. So you should kind of have something even thinner than a spatula. But I'm just gonna try, and I will just repress them in case they break. But I'm just gonna find like the spot where it is the most space, and I'm pushing the spatula towards the palette and not towards the pan until I'm like underneath, and I'm really pressing down as well. As you can see, I am distorting the palette a little bit, but I really just want to get underneath the pan just to loosen up and push the shadow out. And it seemed to be okay. I feel like you can maybe see that it looks a little bit loose on the side, but it's fine. Blue one looks like it has a little bit of extra space down here on this side, so I'm just gonna put my spatula there, really get it down as far as I can. Oh my god, I see it cracking a little bit already. Can we make it? Like, I'm really putting a lot of pressure when, yeah, there you can see it just cracked a little bit. But it's fine, we can fix it. I just have to repress the shadow. But Glam Shop shadows are especially very, very fragile, I would say, compared to a lot of different brands. But I love the formula. It just blends so easily. And it's totally worth it, even though you have a little bit of kick up and stuff. Oh gosh, I can already tell that the pan is going to move or like get distorted when I do this. I might have to just repress almost all of the mattes, but... So you can see that this one is also cracking a little bit, or I'm not sure if you can really tell, but I think I need to repress this because I can tell on like the sides right here. And you can also see this line right here. So this one is also cracking a little bit. I'm pretty sure the same thing is going to happen with this one because I can already see it. Even though I haven't even started with this one, I can see that it has something lifting on the side there. This one came off really easy, but there you can already see the powder from the side where I said I already saw some cracking. But like, this is so little that I'm just going to pick it up with my finger and kind of just smoosh it down. Yeah, these are super powdery, but look how pigmented as well. Yeah, I think this is just fine. Like, just look how much I can swatch this with everything that I picked up. Super, super pigmented. And I do have hand cream on, which is why it's looking a little bit darker, but that's really pigmented. I totally didn't film the last one, but this one actually survived. It's not that bad. I just swatched it and it's fine. So the only ones that did not really make it 100% are these shades. I'm a little bit unsure about this one. I'll just use some paper and tap off and see how vulnerable it is. Looks fine to me. I'll just swatch this one as well. A good excuse to swatch the shadow. Oh, so pretty. I just love how all of the Glam Shop shadows are so opaque even though they're light. So yeah, these ones are the only ones that are ruined. So I'm just going to tap the shadow out. Okay, so I could have just put this directly in my mortar because it all fell out. Okay, this one didn't actually fall out when I was tapping it down, so I'm just going to swatch it, and I think it will still be safe because I'm kind of smooshing it down while I'm swatching it. Wow, that is such a beautiful green. It's like a warm, grungy grass green. And I'm not usually a fan of grass green, but this one, wow, that is so pretty. So actually that was very successful. I'm just going to repress this. So I just finished repressing without showing you guys, but I will leave some links down below to different tutorials that I have, and of course all of those were made based on Faces by Gina on Instagram. I think she also has a YouTube, but she's not active anymore there. But all of the repressing stuff I do is based on what she has taught me through her tutorials, but I will leave a link down below to what I have created of content that has to do with repressing. So the only thing you have to do is kind of just remove whatever is glued onto the pans and you're basically ready to go. I do have some sheets with stickers that are shaped just the same as these 26mm pans that I can stick underneath and write the brand and the name, but as of right now I'm not going to do it. But here we have it. Here is the depotted palette. It wasn't too hard. I just need to clean up here and I can use it for other stuff as well. As I mentioned in the beginning, I don't think all of the palettes will be as easy to depot, and you do have to repress a few of them, like this one, and also a little bit of this actually ended up falling out, so I did repress just that little part. But just be ready to repress, and you're all good. You can't really go wrong with depotting because you can always just repress and none of the shadows will be permanently damaged. So that was the tiny little depotting video that I created, and hopefully it was either helpful or entertaining or whatever. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Sit on my bed, I got nothing.